focus on the latest statement there that's coming in from O. Selvam outside his residence. Remember, massive developments that have taken place today after the Supreme Court's verdict on the disproportionate assets case. Sasikala found guilty, barred from contesting elections. Her chief ministerial dreams, of course, coming into an absolute halt. O. Selvam reaching out to his supporters there, saying that it is imperative that the AIADMK should maintain its unity. But before she's taken away by the police at the resort there, Sasikala making sure that she plays out her cards, puts in a leader who would continue in her place, that name already having been announced, Edapadi Palanisamy, I beg your pardon, who's now been elected there by the Sasikala camp to be the chief minister. In all of this, OPS reaching out to his supporters, also to those at the other camp, in fact putting in that request to help the AIADMK maintain unity.
Well, that's right. In fact, O. Selvam has come out and has appealed to the people in his party, the entire party cadre, saying that they should forget all past differences and now it's time to stand united. He has also made a very important point, saying that he is confident that their government will continue and they do not need any other party's support to ensure that AIADMK continues in power. But in the interim period, Sasikala clearly not willing to take it lying low, and OPS has already been sacked from the primary membership of the party. So Sasikala throwing her weight behind Palanisamy, in fact, and Palanisamy has been elected as the new leader of the AIADMK legislature party. Let's get in further inputs. Our senior correspondent Paulami Saha getting us more details. The first big development, of course, Paulami, that took place at the Apex Court with that verdict, and we're already looking at now, with each passing minute here, Paulami, on how this has impacted politics on ground there in Chennai.
Absolutely, it is definitely a developing situation, an extremely riveting one as well, because of the constantly changing dynamics of politics inside Tamil Nadu since the demise of the late Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha, and of course the factionalism within the AIADMK now is split wide open as far as the AIADMK is concerned after the the removal of O. Selvam as from the primary membership of the AIADMK, which basically leaves the governor with the only choice of inviting both parties, both factions now to a floor test really, and prove themselves as to who exactly has the majority MLAs behind them. So all eyes on the governor, who is to be in Chennai shortly, as to what exactly will be his next course of action. But what we are being told is that within a week's time, that is exactly what the Attorney General of India, Mukul Rohatgi, had in fact advised him yesterday as well, within a week's time to conduct a composite floor test like the way it was done in Uttar Pradesh at a time that there were two claimants to the Chief Minister's chair, Kalyan Singh and Jagdambika Pal. Eventually, Kalyan Singh, of course, who had been removed because of his conviction in a particular case, then acquitted by a higher court within a day's time, was in fact then reinstated as the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh because he won that floor test, which was conducted in the Uttar Pradesh Legislative Assembly. So we're looking at a similar scenario where, of course, both Selvam and Edapadi Palanisamy could be in fact called forward to in fact prove their majority.
But Paulami, how long does it take now? What next? How long does it take for the order to reach Sasikala? Because that is when the other round of activity will begin in Chennai, because the AIADMK camp, which is backing Sasikala, they are clearly waiting for the verdict, a copy of the order.
That's right. The legal team, which is, of course, representing Sasikala and her kin, Nilavarasi and Sudhakaran, are, of course, in the Supreme Court waiting for that judgment, the order copy. It is a very heavy judgment, is what we are being told, at least 1,000 words long. In fact, if I could quote exactly what the judges said when they in fact entered the courtroom, court number 6 in the Supreme Court this morning, they said it is a fatty judgment. We will just read out the conclusion for you. So it is quite an extensive judgment order copy that they will of course have to go through. Of course it will be also sent to the trial court of Karnataka.
With us, our colleagues, our correspondents Lokpriya and Sagai Raj there with us as well. Lokpriya, of course, outside OPS residence there. Lokpriya, we've seen massive celebrations there from the OPS camp. He's already brought out a word there saying that I appeal to all of the AIADMK workers, MLAs, to stay united at this point of time. What are your sources telling you? What's the next step here? Because Sasikala already having acted fast in having declared Palanisamy as the next Chief Minister. is my voice going through,
on
please?
the governor, what will he what? Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
Videy, voice varla, audio.
Yes, we can hear you, Lokpriya. Please go ahead.
New legislative leader of the AIDMK. Hello?
Okay, reconnecting with Lokpriya on that in just a bit. We'll be coming in to our senior colleague, Professor Madhav Nalapat, on this also in just about a few seconds' time. Further updates, ground inputs, they're coming in from our colleague Sagai Raj on this as well. Sagai, what are your sources telling you? The movement that we've seen with both camps, in how much more can Sasikala act in ensuring that her man becomes the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu before she really needs to be taken away by the police there?
In fact, let's just take that question to the editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, Professor Madhav Nalapat, who joins us on the broadcast. Sir, how do you see this playing out from here? Because Sasikala has already removed O. Paneerselvam from the primary membership of the party, and Palanisamy has taken charge. A lot of movement in both camps. So where does this go from here?
Well, the whole question is whether Sasikala is the bona fide leader of the AIDMK or not. The reality of the situation, that has been challenged. And it's very, very clear that after this court verdict, her position is very badly weakened. So is this removal valid or not? Is it legal or not? I don't believe, quite frankly, that too many people in the AIDMK are going to take this removal very seriously. The fact is, today the AIDMK MLAs are a very clear choice. Either they go with O. Paneerselvam and ensure that he gets a majority through the AIDMK MLAs themselves to form the government, or there's going to be a very unstable situation, because what is going to happen is, if OPS fights the election and a large chunk of the MLAs break away, OPS may get the support of the DMK and other parties. He may be sworn in as the chief minister, and then he'll be dependent on the DMK. The only way the AIDMK can survive for the next 4 years, frankly now, is if the MLAs move to OPS's side and declare OPS. I had said from the very beginning, if Sasikala wins the case, OPS is history. If Sasikala loses the case, she is history.
All right, that expectedly to play out on ground, but not before, of course, Sasikala makes sure that she has her man in the seat, of course, before she needs to surrender. Remember, the court set to surrender with immediate effect. Taking in some more political reactions on this, take a listen in.
No, court said very clearly that we wholly and thoroughly reject the High Court judgment and reinstitute the Sessions Court's judgment. And then they directed that Sasikala must put in immediate appearance before the police in Bangalore and undergo the judgment, the sentence of the period of 4 years minus whatever she has already done in the courts. And then Justice Roy, in his footnote, has said that fighting corruption is a great dharmic responsibility, and everybody should fight it. And it doesn't matter on which side the corrupt are; they should be fought. And even when I was arguing the matter, Justice Roy asked me in open court whether I could make a promise to him that I'll never give up fighting against corruption, and I gave him that promise. So this together, I think this is the finest judgment we could expect. It's a trendsetter, and now all the corrupt will be scared that they can't manage the Supreme Court.
What are the legal options available for them? Because even though the Supreme Court has upheld the Karnataka court judgment,
the only two options open are weak options. One is review, which goes back to the same judges, who will throw it out in no time. And then it goes to the curative level, where 5 judges sit, of which 2 of the judges are the same judges, and therefore, I don't see any possibility. I think they have to serve out the term.
The principal accused in your, in the entire case was the late Jayalalitha. What happens to that? What has the court said about it?
It's just lapsed. There's no way they can enforce the judgment. They'll have to go to heaven or hell, wherever she is, and impose the judgment. That they can't do.
You know, everyone was waiting for this judgment to come, and probably that's one of the reasons that people say that the governor was not, giving out what needs to be done in Tamil Nadu. How does the dynamic of Tamil Nadu politics change from here?
I mean, Paneerselvam is undeserving to be the chief minister. He's a turncoat. He is a man who says, I don't have a backbone. He says, I was forced to resign. What a thing for a chief minister to say. I mean, a man he's a boneless wonder. So today he's boneless wonder for Sasikala. At the time he went to the thing. Tomorrow he will be a boneless wonder for some ministers in our central government. I mean, we can't have a man like him. There should be a consensus, there should be a majority vote in the assembly, and therefore the Anna DMK, which has the list and has already submitted it, and the police commissioner has confirmed that list in the High Court. Any nominee of the Anna DMK should be called to form the government and face a motion for confidence.
But the fact of the matter now remains that it's doomsday for Chinnamma. At least for 10 years, she will not be able to be a part of it.
I don't know about doomsday. Some people can serve 4 years and still come out and be in politics. She's not that old. And she can also, run the affairs through the jail. I mean, I don't see these things as ending anything, because she has got capacity, she has got experience, and the last 1 week she has been impressive. So I don't think that's the end of her role. That is the usual journalistic putting everything in extremes without understanding the situation.
How would you see this impact Tamil Nadu politics? I mean, would you see, because obviously there was a huge debate whether
You see, the question of impacting that, unless there is a non-Dravidian movement, I make a distinction between the word Dravidian movement. Dravidian is a Sanskrit word, means